Hello and welcome. We're here hanging out with some of my two favorite people. I got Abhishek and Chris here. We are some good tech nerds, sorry, architects, as we like to call ourselves, in the ServiceNow ecosystem. Again, my name is Dante Hooker. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Abhishek and Chris.
Abhishek Srivastava, based out of Hartford, Connecticut. I work at Genpact.
Awesome.
And my name is Chris Shu. I'm based out of Vancouver, BC, Canada, and have my own practice, a very small ServiceNow partner.
But you have it, and that's great.
I do.
And again, I'm Dante Hooker. I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Been in this space for about 18 years. So, what we're here to talk about really is the impact of AI, right? And our roles, developers' roles. What what can we do now that AI is coming? I know I've had some conversations with probably both of you just in passing about AI, especially you, Abhishek, in recent times. We talked a lot about this over at the ServiceNow mothership there. We're doing a photo shoot there, and just it's just interesting how new companies are coming out of nowhere, even in the ecosystem. I mean, I know for me, just seeing that AI exploding just what everyone to do in everyday life, but now we're seeing explode on us in ServiceNow. I mean, things like Now Assist, then you got things like Echelon coming out. So my thing is, what do you think, and how do you think it's going to impact us? I'll start with you, Chris.
I think it really begins with the data foundation readiness and the process realignment. So you have to prepare for AI, which then forces you to have a strategy for it from the very beginning. Everybody wants to jump into the pool, but you should be walking into the pool and not diving into the deep end, at night. Sometimes you can be swimming blind a bit.
True. Abhishek, what do you think?
So I think AI is moving from experimentation to execution. So in 2023, 2024, AI was all about pilots, proof of concepts. 2025 plus, they came in, boom. Every company is adopting AI. And now we are moving from can we use AI to where does AI drive measurable ROI? So now, since we are moving from generative AI to autonomous enterprise, like you see everywhere in ServiceNow, we need to first answer, and I agree with Chris. We need to first answer that everyone wants to go AI. Agree. But you need to have your processes right. You need to have your data right. And as my CEO, Genpact CEO says, for proper AI, you need proper PI, process intelligence. And unless and until you have proper process intelligence, you cannot implement good AI.
You hit on some very good points. I think the biggest thing is I'll say my thing, and then we'll go to that question or that topic around governance, right? We'll talk about that in a second. But just from my opinion, like you both said, AI is becoming a big mad rush, right? With this conference coming up, everybody's like, let's hurry up. What can we do with AI? How fast can we go AI? AI, AI, AI. Can AI do this? It used to be like, what can AI do? Now, can AI do every little thing I wanted to do? And I think for me, what I've been saying a lot of is that it still needs a use case. If you don't have a use case, you're pretty much putting yourself as let's turn it on and then you're just going to look at it. I think, and Abhishek, you said something that's really resonate with me, data. A lot of time people just think AI is just going to go and do something. It has to learn, right, and understand. That's why it's very important for people to have what do you say that process PI process, you know,
Process intelligence.
I mean, it's key. I mean, we all know this. There's a process behind everything. And if we don't do that, it really makes it tough for people, right? It really makes it tough for companies. So you're going to go out and spend all this money, right? And then you're not going to have the results you need because it's not doing what you desire. So get your data right, get your process intelligence right. I like that PI. Thank you. I'm going to quote that. And it will be great, right? That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Well, you kicked it off, Abhishek, on this governance. Um, I could talk a lot about governance, but again, I want to hear from you both. So, Abhishek, I'll start with you with this question. When it comes to AI governance, how many customers have you even heard talking about AI governance? Have you, I mean, I know for me, I haven't, but I'm gonna let you answer, then I'll give my 2 cents after. But what have you seen around AI governance, not just from a product perspective, but also just from what people are just doing in general with around governance? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so most of the customers I'm talking to, firstly, before I go into the governance,
Mhm.
most of my clients are worried about the security
Yeah,
and where's my data going to? And when you think about that question, where's your data going to? At that point, you need to bring in governance. Who's responsible for your data? Uh, what kind of data is going into systems? What kind of data is going out of systems? So for that, some of my clients who are going beyond the summarization and the knowledge article creation stage, going into interactive conversations, the conversational PI part of it, they are thinking about governance and they understand that their data is might not be secure with AI. So they want to understand how they can govern this data.
absolutely.
And with that, they want to establish COEs which can monitor their data. They want to talk to external providers like system integrators in the market about how does the data get governed. So the clients are becoming um, um, very knowledgeable about that.
Yeah, more aware. Yeah, yeah. Chris, what do you think?
I've seen clients that are getting hit with many sales pitches from very different AI companies and solutions and are being forced to compare them against each other, evaluate which ones meet specific needs and which ones don't, and then put in governance on top of all of them, which of course does involve a security assessment. So those are the main challenges I see them addressing at the beginning of these projects. And when it comes to, are they talking about it? Yes, they are. Most times, though, we're leading those conversations so that we can at least be at the table and help them find the right AI tool for the job so that they don't end up burning through their tokens in, a year's worth of token budget in 2 months, which we've seen some of the stories come out on that.
Listen, we got the okay. Well, I got the tokens coming up in 2 seconds. Now, if I could add to that from the control perspective, right, or governance, what I'm seeing is, a lot of companies that are not ready with governance, and not necessarily with just ServiceNow, but just with their enterprise, right? They're coming with, people are just using ChatGPT willy nilly, and they're throwing their company data all in ChatGPT. That's learning your company information in ChatGPT or Gemini without an enterprise license, right? The goal here is that you need to protect your data, right? Because if you allow that just to go out into the internet, into the cloud, you know what I mean, and allow your employees just to be on their own personal chat GPT, their personal Gemini, you now have your company data in Gemini chat GPT. That's their personal. Because people are doing it for everyday tasks now. It's become Google search at this point, right? So I think the biggest thing is that that is where the handle, I think the control has to be done. If you're going to allow it in your company, just go ahead and get an enterprise license. I know it's going to cost, but I think it's better to protect your data. And I think people are starting to catch up, but right now they're behind, right? I'm just an overall perspective from what I see. So I do think that it's time I'm glad that you said, Abhishek, at least that you see people are getting more, that people worry about security, we know, but that I think it's more of how do I secure someone going to ChatGPT? How? So the only thing I've been hearing is the honor system, right? Just don't put anything in there of company data in any GPT or Gemini. You can do it for email. Go ahead. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I do like that ServiceNow came out with the AI control tower. I thought that was good. The fact that they're thinking about it. I do want it to have more, but I think what they have is a great start. I've been reviewing it a lot because I have a GRC background. So that for me is just something that I like to play in and understand how controls are going to be in place. So I have more to learn about the AI control tower, but it's a good start. It's a very good start. And I'm glad they're at least releasing that with Now Assist, with agents, right? They have that with it instead of coming behind it. I thought that was good. Yeah. This is going to be fun. This is interesting. I can't wait to get the knowledge to hear more about it. But anyway, moving on to the fun, as I call cost. Oh, people think AI is free. You all both know it. I know it. So hey, just go to Gemini and just put stuff in, right? There's a cost associated with everything. And as we get into, people using AI more and more and more, I think the sticker shock is now starting to set in with enterprise now, right? Running all these things. Now, you can do pretty cool stuff with integrations and stuff like that and really drive your costs down. Regular prompts are really not that expensive. But when you start to get into building agents, that money ticks up fast. Anybody will know if you're using using companies out there to build your websites or build applications or mobile apps or doing images that there's an enterprise level that you're paying, that little $5 run out quick, right? So have you all seen with your customers or companies you work with where they see the sticker shock, even from a ServiceNow Now Assist, even from a Gemini, whatever it may be? I know I get that a lot. The sticker shock is what I'm starting to see. Like, what? Well, I can only do this, and every time I do a transaction, it costs. What does it cost, and why does it cost? Right? That's something I need to learn more about. I'm not going to lie on my end, but what have you seen? And I'll go with Chris first on this one.
Well, just like when things moved to workflow data fabric and integration hub became more transactional cost based as opposed to spoke based, we started socializing the AI costs with customers at the exploratory phase to ensure that they knew what they were getting into, because it's very easy to see these very well-run demos go through and do something amazing, and then everybody wants a 5,000 person enterprise to be able to do this all day, every day. And to look at that transaction cost per, you really have to do an ROI evaluation on it.
Absolutely.
To see how much you're measuring that value you get out of it. And yes, the costs can run up quite quickly, especially if they're over the course of many people. We've tried to help companies start super small. Give Now Assist to the help desks only.
It's perfect.
Start with that, look at the costs, and then give an actual real-world projection. We've all estimated 300,000 transactions a year for this integration, and sometimes it's 3 million.
Yeah.
When you kind of get into the real world. So we try to minimize that sticker shock by going in slowly for a little bit, for a small audience, see how the usage rate is, and then look about budget and value after that.
I'm going to take that and I'm just going to play that for every customer.
Go for it.
Abhishek, go ahead.
No, that's I totally agree with Chris. We need to start small on this. And that's why when I spoke to my first customer for whom we were doing some AI work, we wanted to start with the out-of-the-box summarization, knowledge article creation, so that they utilize the minimum number of assists. And as we went into implementation and scoping of some of the workflows which required agentic and all those, we realized how these assists can quickly burn.
Yes.
So when we discuss with the customers that, okay, these are the 10 workflows which we are going to implement for you, this is going to be the cost, but here is the main thing. Now you have to buy a Now Assist pack, which is going to have a 500,000 assists, and we'll see how we burn about. So at that point of time, customers start asking us, what's the ROI on this assist? Because they were thinking that they will just use Now Assist, get some summarization, or use the agents, use them. But now with this Now Assist pack and future assist packs they would be buying, it is a sticker shock for them. So they are coming back to us guys, give us some workarounds around it. And I'm like, yeah, we're working on it.
Absolutely, we'll work around it. I think for me, when it comes to the sticker shock, is what I'm starting to see just a lot from everybody is that the some people are taking a step back, right? They're like, okay, we're gonna just hold and toe the line, and some people are dove all the way in. There's no middle. Well, now I'm seeing a little bit more middle people, right? But in the beginning, it was like you're in or you're out, right? I think, what you both said just kind of resonates with me because it's just like the cost in the transaction space, they need to know this, right? They need to understand. I mean, if you recall when Discovery came out, how that was transaction based, for those of us who use IDR and understand how that's transaction based, it's very similar to the model. It's not right, wrong, right, wrong, and different. It's just the way it is. They need to know this. And one thing that I get into, and which I'll come up on the next question, is just really when you start talking about us as developers, and now assist for dev, right? It's kind of like how they think. I'm hearing a customer say, "Well, I can just get now assist for developers, and I can cut my dev team in half." Good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And
Yep.
so I just, just rounding off here on the cost, I'll just say this: everything costs, nothing's free, right? Even using GPT, Gemini, free versions, let your people use it. There is a cost association that you either pay for one way or the other. And the biggest thing is what I don't want companies to take away from AI, because the good thing about it is AI is very good, can help us all, but people still need to know something. They need to understand and know the process, right? The PI, as you said, right? Then we need to know that, and don't just dive in on a tool or a functionality, without understanding the true business impact. What are you trying to get out of it? I mean, everything is an automation. ServiceNow is an automation, right? AI, no, just more features. If you don't have a process behind it, you are done, right? I mean, I say this all the time: know the why. If you don't know why you're using it, don't use it. Understand it and then use it. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. But so I would just say this. My next question, this is where I go to us as architects and devs, back to what I alluded to with the Now Assist, right? Or an Echelon, or any other tool that's getting ready to come out to do part of our job. Notice I said part of our job. I didn't say our job. The fear always sets in. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know me and you and Abhishek was like, "Oh my God, they're trying to replace us," right? And I think the biggest thing is that when what they're doing that is that we get into a place that it always does everything, right? And now that things do everything, what we get into is that we want to know how they can mainly go to the automation without cutting us out. I'll go with you, Abhishek. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so see, what I think about it is that AI always needs a human element in it to do a real transformation. Like AI plus the workflow platforms, plus the human architects and technical leads who will combinedly work to give real transformation. AI alone is not enough. Like it needs orchestration layers like ServiceNow and some of the other products in the market. It needs human to look into it, to design it properly. Workflows can guide you to deliver value, but human context is equally needed in that.
Absolutely. Chris?
And I think every enterprise still needs that under the hood knowledge. What are you going to do when things go wrong?
Yes.
And if no one in the organization knows how this stuff works under the hood and you don't have that, that is a huge risk that you're taking. Those are the times that you have to come in and hire that emergency consultant at a crazy amount of
Crazy rates.
dollars, right? And then suddenly but that seems to never get put into the AI budget as well for the total cost of ownership. I see AI as one of the coolest tools we have at our disposal, but it's not always the answer. So having that, like Abhishek said, human oversight and under the hood understanding can help make sure that it's deployed in the right places at the right times And then someone has to validate that it is doing the right things that you want at some point. Unless you want to try and do AI built software that has AI testing. But then it becomes
you still need
you
somebody.
layer on top and all the way up. At some point, it
Still
has to
somebody has
stop
to look
with
at
a
it.
human. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Right, and then make sure that we're validating that the experience with the humans are still working as expected, and not an endless cycle of an agent that can't get out of its own loop, just burning tokens.
I mean, to me, that is like, I mean, but what both of you said is awesome. I liken this AI to, I'll date myself a little bit. I mean, mostly everybody can read about it. We all know about this car industry when they started to automate, building cars. They didn't replace the people. I mean, yeah, they cut back on some people, but it took years for them to do it and perfect it, but they still have people. Now, is it not going to impact us zero? Now, we know it is. We know it's going to be some companies out there that feel like they can cut some staff back because of AI. We cannot lie about that. It will be some impact. But for me, again, it's just like about that. I mean, you start looking at other industries where just all this stuff, becomes automated. McDonald's, making the burgers. There's still people behind there, still people behind the counter. I don't care how you get the self checkout, you still got somebody out there who's going to give you your food. So I think the human intervention will always be needed. And to me, I just feel like we all need to always work on improvement because it's always there. There's always a new thing going to come out. We always going to do that. But one piece of technology that never goes away that they said will die one day, maybe not in our lifetime, is the mainframe. Right? If you guys remember the mainframe, they said, "Oh, it's going to be obsolete. That's never going to go away." Okay, talk to ADT, who does payroll for probably every company in this world, right? And they still use the mainframe. Because nothing is more secure at this point because of the no web and all that fun stuff. But still, I've done a little mainframe in my life and I still get calls. I don't remember any of it. So every now and again I get a call like, "Hey, do you still a little bit? We need somebody. You got a guy who's like 95 who needs something to a little bit about mainframe, come help us out." But I like into that, so I just feel like, Abhishek, you said it best. You still need human intervention. And for people who may be watching this at some point, just know, I said it earlier today on LinkedIn, tool up. It's time to learn it. You're behind a little bit if you start, but if you start now, you will be fine. Your skill set will always carry you, always be valuable, and just learn the tool. I'm saying? Don't get scared of it. Don't think that you're obsolete unless you stop learning. Because it could AI today, last time it was Flow Designer, and next 5 years it will be something else that we need to learn. So I don't know. I know I'm a little bit on my soapbox there, but I just think that the fear does set in, and I get it. But just as long as we know that we will always be needed, as long as you stay marketable, right? So, well, I'll say this. We're right at where I want to be here, but I'll give you both the floor. Is there anything you want to say? Kind of final thoughts on where you believe AI is going for us as it pertains to the ServiceNow ecosystem, or anything outside of that, that you may just want to give, just in closing words, anything that you want to say. And I'll start with Chris.
Just that, echoing some of the things you said earlier, Dante. Don't have fear, but prepare. So AI is now embedded in every single ServiceNow product. That has happened. It is not a matter of when. That has already happened. This means you need to have, like Abhishek said, process intelligence. You need to have strong foundational data to ensure that you can then layer AI on top of this stuff strategically, governed by your company's AI governance policy, to ensure security teams are happy, to ensure that the business gets the value, and to ensure that finance will cut that next check.
Well said. Abhishek?
I just want to say AI is not going to replace people. But people using AI will definitely replace those who are not using.
Beautiful.
And then the winners in AI won't be the ones with the best models. The winners in AI would be the ones who have their strong data foundation, who have process intelligence, and who have the best execution. So always focus on the basics, on the foundation, and you'll be golden.
It's perfect. And I'll close with this. I agree with you both 100%. And I'll also say that just know that just keep like Abhishek, like Chris said, learning the tools, learning the platform, and know that if you continue on with it, in this case it's AI, you will be marketable, right? You need to stay in the game, stay in the fight. Do not let it overtake you with fear. Then you will lose, right? That is not the goal here. The goal is to continue learning AI now, tomorrow, whatever they come out with. And just understand that things will always be constantly moving, right? So I'll just say thank you to the panelists for joining me here on this nice little podcast that we call SN Know the Why. And looking forward to many more. Thank you both.
Absolutely.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you, Dante, for organizing this.
Yes, appreciate it.